What is happening there, J Game Dude here, and No Man's Sky has reached a very positive rating on Steam after 8 years from being one of the single most hated games of all time to being one of the most appreciated games of all time. And I say that because look at the amount of patches, releases, updates that this game has had since 2016 from its original release. Now, why am I bringing up these updates and why am I talking about No Man's Sky? Well, the reason is I was there when the game originally launched, and I saw how much the game was absolutely hated because Sean Murray was coming out and just saying a lot of stuff about like how, there is multiplayer in the game, or if you guys are actually in the same planet, the universe is so big that you guys you won't be able to find each other and things like that. But when two people did find each other in the actual game itself, say for example, they would not be able to see each other because there was no multiplayer that was actually implemented. And so what ended up happening was that the team at Hello Games ended up shutting them traps, putting their heads down, and they effectively kept working on the game. Update after update after update after update, releasing it on newer platforms and adding more and more and more and more. And they were a very disliked game. The game was very much disliked, and people did not like Hello Games for the way they handled themselves. And more often than not, people called No Man's Sky, they called it No Man's Lie instead. And it was either in people's worst or most disappointed games of the year for them back in 2016. And now it's kind of reached its own zenith, where it's reached the same point that we've seen Final Fantasy XIV come out as, where like originally the game released absolutely buggy, broken and battered to all hell, and now is one of the most well-liked MMOs that are currently on the market. And with No Man's Sky, that very much falls into the same space, pretty much, pun intended. Because the thing is that, say for example, if you wanted to travel from planet to planet, you would just get an animation. Now you can actually fly starships and things like that. You can create bases. You can actually meet NPCs. There's a permadeath mode. There are just so many quality of life changes, huge expansions, and ultimately has only benefited the game since. So I feel like there really isn't much. Even just the addition of crossplay was like an insane thing to think about. But really though, all things considered, while all of this work was done over this entire time, I just wanted to say that it is very, very much well deserved. That team has done an excellent job in reviving a game that would have been considered to be dead. Nowadays, very few game developers, very few game publishers would ever go out of their way to actually fix a game this much, to be able to commit themselves to something that they sold, albeit at a lie initially, but then for it to actually catch fire as much as it did and ultimately continue spreading across the internet. And now you will never hear a complaint from No Man's Sky. The only people you're going to hear from are those of us that were there originally when the game launched, and the myriads of issues. Well, there was no actual like bugginess in the game or those sorts of problems. It was more just the lack of features that were being advertised, not necessarily on the box, but definitely by the head of the studio. So it's very good to see that all of this has kind of been done, and now we find ourselves looking towards a new game being made by Hello Games. More specifically, okay, I've just reached the bottom here, Light No Fire, which is also being developed by Hello Games, a smaller team however, and they are trying to kind of make almost like an actual Earth within the game itself, like time passes kind of the same way as it does in real life, but also trying to create a replica of Earth in a game to some extent. So very interesting to see how all of this goes. I'm surprised that there are genres like survival and adventure and role-playing here on Google, because nothing is actually known about Light No Fire at the moment. All we know of is this single 2-minute trailer that was released last year at the Game Awards, and you know, the head of Hello Games was saying, you know, the same things that he was saying when he was out on the trail talking about No Man's Sky, saying how ambitious, you know, the game is going to be and a bunch of other things. But he did stop himself and say, I know we've all, you know, said this all before and things like that. So he was definitely kind of, you know, poking fun at like some of the things that happened in the past, albeit at the detriment of Hello Games' like reputation back in the day. But yeah, it's just amazing to see that the game is actually being held up so bloody high, and it's the patches that fix the game, not fixed but added the game, you know. So like here, user reviews, recent was mostly positive, overall still mostly negative. I need to go back and actually check it out, but yeah. No Man's Sky, I thought it came out in 2016, unless I'm misremembering here, and it was actually 2017. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, no, the game initially had so many negative reviews, and it absolutely made sense. All reviews very positive. Yeah, it's just great to see. Yeah, Sean Murray, that's the guy I was thinking of. I said his name earlier, and then I just proceeded to completely forget. But yeah, great to see that, like, if a company sticks with the game long enough, that eventually it'll become a significantly better game. However, sometimes you kind of think, well, why doesn't a game launch like that? And it's the whole idea of how expensive game development has become, the fact that studios and publishers are more than happy to deny people, you know, games, or just completely shut down online only games because it's not making enough money, even though there are people that really do want to play it. I'm definitely not talking about Concord or anything like that, but there are just other games out there. But I feel like this is just something to celebrate, something positive to talk about in the gaming space, because we can talk about a lot of different negative things, but sometimes when we see something good and happy occur, we do need to talk about it, so that people can know that good things do happen in a space where a lot of negativity can easily fall on, you know, fall into everyone's, you know, Twitter feeds and whatever have you, whatever news feeds you're following, because negative news travels a lot further than positive news does. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Let me know if you've actually played No Man's Sky at launch, or if you've only just played it now, or if you've been playing it throughout, because I would be very interested to hear from people who do actually play No Man's Sky, how much these updates have personally benefited you from how you play the game, because I cannot see anything but positive things out of this. Or if you didn't try No Man's Sky before, now that the game is incredibly positively received from the audience that bought it on Steam, will you be willing to buy it and try it yourself? Be fascinated to know about that. But with all that being said though, let me know what you guys think about all of that in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of next year. With all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.